What is going on, guys, and welcome to the 2nd of January Raw Review. It was a big show, the first Raw of 2017. Now, I'm a little bit tight for time, so if I do go through at a swift pace, I do apologise. Longer reviews will be happening next week, but as I say, a little bit of a rush today. But we're going to go through what was, for the most part, a pretty poor Raw. There was a couple of good things, but for the most part, it was a pretty poor Raw, I'm going to be honest with you. Until we got to the end segment and the middle segment, you know, it was just running along very, very slowly. The first segment, we had much the same as what we've seen recently on Raw. We had Owens, McMahon, Foley, Jericho in the ring, and I love Owens, I love Jericho, and the chemistry they have together is fantastic, but it's getting to the point where this is like the authority segment. You know, it's just every week, the same thing. It gets boring. I'm not saying that about Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens. I'm saying that more about the fact that Mick Foley comes out, he creates matches that then are later on in the night, and Jericho and Owens have a laugh. And it just is getting a little bit repetitive and a little bit boring. So yeah, that was what was announced. The Kevin Owens the Kevin Owens show with Goldberg on. Not the greatest opening segment. You know, makes you dive. We'll try and, you know, hook you in with the opening segment, and very rarely do they achieve that. We then had Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. I thought this was a relatively poor match for these two. And the ending was retarded. That's the only way you can describe it. I don't know what they were trying to say, whether Kevin Owens is retarded and didn't know that was going to get him disqualified, and whether he's, you know, stupid to the point where he didn't know, which makes your champ look very, very pathetic, which they're doing a great job of, again, as WWE always do. Or I don't honestly know what they were trying to show. Is the confusing ending to end a average match at best up until that point. I didn't really get it, and it meant that Seth Rollins wasn't banned from ringside, and Roman Reigns was. Kevin Owens was for the United States Championship later on in the night. Seth Rollins didn't even interfere in that match, so I really don't get the point of the whole thing. I get that they wanted to add, you know, stakes to the match, which I am. I like that, and I think when Raw was good a few months ago, that's what they had. They had matches that meant something each and every time. When SmackDown was, you know, doing well at the start, matches and on SmackDown matches do mean stuff. And I think that's a big difference. Raw, they simply don't, but they did here, but they got it wrong. So yeah, what can you say? Cesaro versus Carl Anderson. It looks like the club are going to be facing Sheamus and Cesaro at the Royal Rumble. I'm down for that. I think that'll be a good match, and I think if you know, they can start to build the club up. Now, can they? I don't know. I gave them WWE's wasted talent of 2016, so they started 2017 better, and they started 2017 with a win. They've got to beat, keep getting wins, but as it says here, don't overdo the match. You know, we don't want to see matches and matches and matches between the club and Cesaro and Sheamus, because it makes the thing with the tag team division. The problem is a tag team feud usually goes on for a few months, and during them few months they face each other on Raw, they face each other each and every week, and on pay-per-view. It gets to the point where you're just sick of the feud. You're sick of them being in the ring at the same time together. So let's hope that they avoid that. Now, the club need to just basically beat up. What I'd like to see them on the next few weeks is demolish the Golden Truth, demolish the Shining Stars, beat the New Day cleanly, and really get some momentum going. They could hit Cesaro and Sheamus. They could attack them from behind. They could interfere in their matches. There could be a way that they could do that. They got a bit of heat today, obviously, with the cheap victory, which is a good thing. But yeah, I think that there's possibility to build them well, but you know, for example, they can't go next week and end up losing to Cesaro and Sheamus, because it just defeats the whole object. You know, the club were booked so badly last year, it's going to take a lot to recover them. It's possible, but they've got to do stuff right for the next few weeks and months, really, of WWE, to make the club seem like a viable threat to Cesaro and Sheamus. We then had Sami Zayn versus Braun Strowman. I thought it was a very good match. High intensity. Again, it went pretty much the way I expected it to go, and I wanted it to go. So that I really did like. A lot of people complain about the ending. There was no, you know, big massive spot. I liked the ending. I thought it was clever. I thought it was a way again to show Zayn, you know, literally he was just going off, and he just kept fighting, and he kept trying to, and not giving up, and Strowman just kept picking him up, and it just showed that sadistic side of Braun Strowman, that, you know, he pulls him up when he's close to the 10 count. When he's already won, it's not enough. He doesn't care about winning. All he cares about is beating people up, and I like that from Strowman. Sami Zayn getting stretched off on the stretcher, and then Strowman then going back to beat him up. It works fantastically. It develops Sami Zayn's character. It develops Braun Strowman's character. This match was great. Zayn will probably be on the shelf for a little bit, expecting probably to return in the Rumble. But yeah, I think this has done wonders for both of these. Strowman onto bigger and better things. Zayn equally onto bigger and better things. But this has capped off a very, very good feud. It has to be said. So yeah, great segment there. We then had Titus O'Neil trying to join the New Day. I thought it was unique. I thought it was, you know, a different way to use the New Day. I'll be interested to see how they use the New Day over the next few weeks. Obviously now the fact that they're not the tag team champions and not really in the title hunt. So that'll be interesting to see. And this was a decent segment. You know, it was a decent segment. It was a way to use Titus O'Neil a lot better than what he's been using. It was a roll-up, so we could see possibly Titus O'Neil versus Big E, or Titus versus Kofi over the next few weeks as we get close to Royal Rumble. New Day entering themselves into the Royal Rumble. I was a bit disappointed with that because that's now 3 members. That's 1/10 for the Royal Rumble, which is the New Day, which is a bit disappointing. I really hope they come out as one entrant, but I don't think that's going to be possible. But yeah, a unique segment. It felt fresh, it felt different, and you know, I'm never going to be opposed to experimenting and trying different things, and I think it's worked for the most part. You know, not an outstanding segment, but one, if you're scrolling through Raw and you haven't got a lot of time, I'd advise you to probably watch this bit, because it was something quite entertaining. It was Titus O'Neil being used and being on TV. That was nice to see, and the New Day being booked decently. They're still stale, and they still need a heel turn, or they need to break up, but it was okay. It was okay. The Cruiserweights, let's just talk about these two segments. Cedric Alexander versus Drew Gulak, and I probably said that name wrong, and Brian Kendrick versus TJ. Because to be honest with you, I've forgotten the results of the matches. I've forgotten basically everything to do with the Cruiserweights on Raw, because it was that terrible. It was that boring. They had no time. It was all rushed. It felt rushed. It felt, it was just ridiculous. And the way that they've booked the Cruiserweights is such a disappointment, because they could have been something very, very special on Raw. As it is, they're just a waste of time. Complete waste of everybody's time. And they're the bits that I skip on Raw. I'm not going to lie to you. I think to myself, well, there's no point. They last 5 minutes. They're a waste of time. I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea who these superstars are. I don't know who I should be cheering for. It's just pathetic and pointless. The Cruiserweight division has become the Divas division of the WWE, just misusing talent constantly. We need a Cruiserweights revolution. We've now had the Women's Revolution. We need a Cruiserweights revolution. Now, I don't have time to watch 205 Live. There's just not enough time in the day to watch all the WWE content. Solutions have been made. You know, I said the first hour of Raw, KWE commented and said about it having, having a massive block of, say, half an hour, 45 minutes in the middle of the show for the Cruiserweights. I'm equally happy for that to happen. That's another fantastic solution. But let's make a prediction. That's never going to happen, and we're just going to see the Cruiserweights misused for time and time again. And what's the point? I mean, what's the point in changing the colour of the ropes if you're going to give them 5 minutes? It's just a complete and utter waste of time. I'm not going to talk too much about the Cruiserweights anymore, because it really does piss me off, because it is just pathetic for the most part. We then saw Roman Reigns versus Chris Jericho. I'll tell you what, I thought Chris Jericho was going to win his US title at one point. I really fucking did. He didn't, and they're keeping the US title on Reigns, and if he does do what I expect him to do at the Royal Rumble and win the title, what's the point? What are the mid-card people fighting for? What are the Sami Zayns of this world? The Braun Strowmans of this world? Fuck, I can't even think of the mid-card. I can't even think of the fucking mid-card on Raw. Rusev, the Big Casses. What are they fighting for? They're not fighting for anything. I don't get it. Someone needs to take the title off Roman Reigns. I don't agree with this, unifying championships when there's only one major championship then on Raw. It seems pathetic. It seems counterproductive. It wastes your mid-card. And it's just making the title look fucking dumb again. And Cena did so much to build that up. One of the most successful things he's done in his career, in my opinion. I know it sounds ridiculous when you look at what an incredible career he's had. But I think that was one of his best achievements, was bringing that United States Championship from the shitter right back up to relevance. and it's now irrelevant again. And it's such a shame. The title needs to get off Roman Reigns pronto. There's no need for it to be there for the feud. They haven't even mentioned the United States Championship. Haven't even mentioned it. And that was the weird thing at Roadblock, wasn't it? It wasn't for the United States Championship. It was for the Universal title. So what? So it wasn't even though the winner unifies the title. It was literally the Universal Championship on the line. End of. The United States Championship. That's just a prop. I mean, it's pathetic. They need to get the title off him, and if they're not getting the title off him, then they can't let him win at the Royal Rumble. I don't want him to win at the Royal Rumble, but they can't let him win. This Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens feud, I'm not down for it. I'm not into it. I'm not into this Chris Jericho in a fucking cage. I think it's pathetic. There's so many better options they could have done with this Universal title, and they've decided to go for the simple, boring one. And if I'm honest, I'm not looking forward to the match whatsoever, and if Roman Reigns wins, I will be pissed off for the rest of the Royal Rumble, no matter what happens. And that, I know that sounds ridiculous, and it's not because I hate Roman Reigns, it's because I hate his character, and it's because I hate the fact that Roman Reigns is going to main event WrestleMania for the 3rd year in a row, when each and every fucking time, nobody's wanted to see it. Not because Roman Reigns is shit, but because the company has booked him fucking embarrassingly. Point finished. Next up, Big Cass versus Jinder Mahal and Rusev. What the fuck is the point of this feud? I don't give a shit about it. I don't give a shit about Jinder Mahal. I have no idea why they brought him back. Well, I was okay with them bringing him back. That's fine. But then as soon as he came back, he became a jobber. Now he's teaming with Rusev. Rusev fell off the face of the earth. His credibility is just almost gone. They might as well just release Rusev. And it's such a shame because he's such a talented person. Big Cass, Enzo Amore. Enzo Amore is terrible in the ring. He needs to become a manager. Cass needs to have a singles push. This feud's terrible. I really, really hope it ends pronto because I cannot bring myself to watch it anymore. It's terrible. At least Rusev got a win, I suppose. We then saw Bayley versus Nia Jax. This was nothing special. It was simple. It was effective. Bayley got the win, meaning she's the #1 contender for Charlotte. Sasha Banks kind of interfered, gave the distraction, furthers their feud, and the women's feuds at the moment are pretty decent. And there was no Dana Brooke, thank God for that. Praise the Lord, no Dana Brooke on Raw today. I'm happy with that. So yeah, that was a decent segment. The match was okay. It wasn't anything special. It was okay, but the story was developed. There was 2 stories developed in one. Very, very clever. Doesn't hurt the credibility of Nia Jax. Gives Bayley a victory over Nia Jax. So be it in different circumstances, or I'm trying to think of the word I can't think. This is what Raw just saps the energy out of me, folks. It really does. And then we saw the last segment, which kind of brought my energy up a little bit to the point where I could actually do a review. Kevin Owens hosts the Kevin Owens Show, but it was a good show. Jericho made me laugh. Owens made me laugh. They're great. They're great together. But we saw a serious side to Owens, and we saw a serious side to Chris Jericho at the same time. Jericho announced he's entering the Rumble. That was predictable. I think I actually predicted that in the preview. So that's good. We're not going to see Seth Rollins versus Chris Jericho again because there's no need for it. That's good. That is good. I don't really know what Seth Rollins is doing. Was he even on? Oh no, of course he was on the show, but I don't really know what he's doing. I'd like seeing Rollins come out there and go, well, I'm in the Rumble. He feels like the missing piece there. But yeah, out came Goldberg. They face to face with Kevin Owens. I mean, that was a friggin' awesome moment. That was I was like, I want to see that main event. I want to see Goldberg. I want to see Owens. That's what we need. Heyman came out, said a few words about Brock Lesnar. Reigns came out, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, he's going to win the Royal Rumble. Just getting excited about Kevin Owens and Goldberg, and possibly Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho. Possibly Kevin Owens versus Brock Lesnar, my dream match. And then Roman Reigns comes out, and I'm like, shit, none of it's going to happen. Because Roman Reigns is winning the Rumble. Spoiler alert! Not winning the Rumble, winning at the Royal Rumble. So yeah, that really brought me down a little bit. But then I can't lie, the face-to-face with Goldberg was intense. It was exciting. And although out of the 3 matches I just named, if we include Roman Reigns versus Goldberg, it is 4th on the wish list. I can't say I'd be disappointed if I saw it. It would be an okay match. I can't deny that. Then Braun Strowman comes out, and why not? I don't see a problem with Strowman coming out. It shows he's in the main event picture, which he deserves to be because of how he is winning and demolishing people. And then it took 2 Gauls to be taken down And that, I think, is good for him. People complaining about that, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think 2 gauze from Goldberg and Roman Reigns, you know, fucking hell. Brock Lesnar was speared, you know, by Goldberg. The fact that it's taken Roman Reigns and Goldberg to take down Braun Strowman and to show any sign of frailties in Braun Strowman's game, I think it's a fantastic way, again, that WWE booked him. And I think it's another successful night for Strowman as it continues with about 20 weeks of successful booking from WWE. I clap them, but then I also say, how the fuck do you ruin everybody else? I mean, come on. Reigns should have kind of been booked like Strowman. Maybe not as extreme as Strowman's being booked, but a similar type of way. Doesn't say very much. Beats people up. Heel, simple. Reigns is liked. A year and a half time, turn him face, and you've got one of the biggest baby faces the company has ever had. Will you do it, WWE? Will you do it? I'm guessing you won't. But a decent end to Raw. We saw some awesome face-offs. We saw some teasers at the main event of WrestleMania. But I think what everyone's forgetting, is somebody on SmackDown Live could win this. Which means that somebody on Raw might not win it. Which means who's facing, whether it's Roman Reigns, spoiler alert it will be, or Kevin Owens at WrestleMania, doesn't have to be from the Rumble. It doesn't have to be from the Rumble at all. Could be Finn Balor. Undertaker could win the Rumble, face Styles or Cena. It could genuinely happen. Talking about Undertaker and HBK are on Raw next week. Unfortunately, probably not in the same ring at the same time. I don't really get the point of Undertaker being on Raw, but hey, it's Undertaker. I don't mind. I really don't mind. But that's it then for the Raw review. A poor show, saved by a couple of decent segments. Out of 10, we're going to give it a solid 4. I think that's fair, if I'm honest. I think that's being polite. 4 out of 10, and it's saved by Goldberg, Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, and Chris Jericho, and Paul Heyman on the Kevin Owens Show. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. I'll see you tonight, a little bit later for the SmackDown preview, and then I'll see you for the SmackDown review tomorrow, and I'll be a lot more positive after watching SmackDown, because SmackDown rocks. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.